Greetings, family. Welcome back to another episode of Through the Looking Glass. I am your Oracle Key, the Starseed, and Freak Show Babe. For today's message, I have the understanding and the reminder of silent contracts and the contracts that we make with ourselves sometimes are overlooked when we focus too much on soul contracts in which we make with other people. And so, not to get too deep into the soul contract aspect, but just generally, a soul contract is a contract that was made between you and another soul when you incarnated into this plane to learn, discover life lessons. So you would play a role in this person's life, and they would play, the opposite or inverse role in your life. And the whole point is for you to learn something. Sometimes some soul contracts are extremely long and extremely detailed and span over years with certain people. And when you are in a certain point in your spiritual journey, in your life path, these soul contracts will activate. So the person may cross your path and it'll spark the initiation stages of the soul contract. And basically, the person in that energy that they brought to the table won't actually leave until the full obligations of the soul contract are fulfilled. So when we talk about soul contracts, I guess I'm going into detail about this. It's not a negative aspect. There's once the lessons and the skills are learned with these soul contracts, the life lessons and the challenges you face, you've overcome all these things. There's rewards on the other side of it. So, like, let's say you entered into a soul contract predestined before you incarnated with another person to learn personal power, to teach you to break past limits. Sometimes there's something this person will actually trigger you in ways that cause you to make a choice. It presents you with a choice from within. Do I take the leap of faith that causes me to activate my personal power and step out on my own? Or do I continue to placate to the person or whatever, do the opposite and continue to give my power away? So oftentimes when you're faced and you have a soul contract with another person, it is because of the challenges that come along with it, and because of the way you're being tested, the way you're being molded and shaped and prepared for your next chapter in life. A lot of people feel, you may feel that it's a negative thing. That it's not negative. The issue is you're not doing the thing that is you're aligned to do. So if it's activate personal power and push past limits, then the person on the flip side of the soul contract will actually ask you questions or present little options for you to continue giving your power away. So for example, you have a roommate or a partner that you are heavily involved with and have been involved with for years. But the fear that you're trying to overcome is being alone, striking out on your own and being, taking care of yourself fully and completely. If the soul contract dictates when you start making steps towards that action of looking for your own place, this doesn't have to be a romantic soul contract. They're not always romantic, guys. This could be friends. You could have a roommate. You could have a sister, a cousin, or somebody that you have been living with because you're afraid to live by yourself. So anyway, you start looking for apartments. You start finding jobs. You start, looking and searching, and you're making steps towards actually stepping out and striking out on your own. The fear complex hits. And then on top of that, that person starts saying things like, oh, so you gonna leave, you gonna do this. The person is not negative. The person literally is designed to present the barrier for you so that you step out on your own. What's also happening in that process is that person is also learning that their power and their ability, their need or desire to control another or to be a savior in somebody's life is also being tested. They are also being tested to let go. So when you step away and you walk in your faith, in your path, in your purpose, in your power, and you continue taking those steps forward in your power, what's happening on the flip side of that soul contract, that person is coming to terms or having to come to terms with why they feel like they should have control or say or ownership over another person, another being's God-given right in life and livelihood to move freely about this realm. So when you think about it from that perspective, both parties are learning something. They're just learning something different. So when you take the step to reclaim and go on your own path and do the thing that you know you want to do, and you push back when they say, not push back in a negative way, just you're just like, okay, I'm doing this because this is what's most important to me. In this instance, you're choosing yourself. It's all about you choosing you. Every time you choose you, you reclaim more of your power. But when you reclaim your power, you also reclaim responsibility for your life. You reclaim ownership over your life and the responsibility to take care of your livelihood, your happiness, your health, your this, whatever it is that you're working towards. Every time you choose yourself, you choose not to pass the burden of you onto another person. You carry your own weight in life, and then therefore, when you do these things, you actually align yourself with partners that are also carrying their own weight. So you meet that fully aligned partner that stands on their own 2 feet, who doesn't try to control, who doesn't try to coddle or any of that. And sometimes it's not meeting a new partner. It's solving these soul contracts with this person to overcome this challenge so that new energies are placed inside of the relationship that you currently have. So if you're already in a relationship or you're already in a partnership with somebody and you are, somewhat happy, but there's just some things that need to be changed. These are the changes that need to be made. You need to change yourself. You need to focus on yourself. You need to pour into yourself. You need to love yourself enough to know that setting the appropriate boundaries does strengthen your relationships with your friends, your family, your children, just anybody, with society. You choosing you activating your own God-given right and responsibility and ownership over your life actually improves every relationship that you have, because you set the appropriate boundaries so that you're not putting yourself on another person. You're not putting the burden of taking care of you on another person, because it can become a burden over time. If you ain't sick and you just chilling or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I done went off on a tangent, but obviously that little tidbit was necessary. Now that we talked about soul contracts with other people, the original point and the original intent of this recording really was to talk about silent contracts with yourself. So you've made silent contracts with yourself, whether you want to, in this lifetime, the contract you made with yourself is you want to achieve the top tier health of your life, to be the healthiest version of yourself in this lifetime you've ever been. That's a silent contract that you made with yourself. So as a result, you will start to feel inklings of being encouraged to get outside, go walking, meditate, listen to spiritual growth, do personal development, all these things that are a part of, that are habits that allow you to activate and fulfill this silent contract. Now, other silent contracts you maybe have with yourself are things like you want to build a business, you want to strike out on your own, you want total freedom from corporate America, or you want to be this business mogul within corporate America. These contracts are your silent contracts that you've made specifically with yourself. In order for you to activate and actually fully step into and fulfill the silent contracts you made with yourself, the soul contracts you have with other people also play a part in that. So you can't necessarily become truly abundant if you're still giving your power away to another person, if you're still relying on another person, if your soul contract dictates in this lifetime that you wanted to become free of everything, true freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, all of these things, you're going to have to sacrifice in certain areas. And it's not actually a sacrifice. Once you start making the steps towards that, fulfilling your silent contract, your soul contracts with other people actually activate within to help guide you. So remember, these things are not designed to destroy you. They're designed to strengthen you. You are being molded and shaped into the very person that you said you wanted to be, that you wrote on your soul blueprint, that you wanted to do, that you wanted to achieve in this lifetime. That's what you're being molded for. And it feels stressful and it feels chaotic because you're denying yourself the right to listen to your intuition. You're not following the cues that God has given you. You're not following or taking the steps or the action in the direction of where you actually want to go. You're either stagnant or in overthinking it, contemplating it too hard, and you're not moving. So when you're not moving, you start to feel the pressure and the weight of what life is. Once you start moving, things kind of start picking up. The more momentum you build towards fulfilling these silent contracts with yourself, the more these soul contracts activate. Now, remember, I also said with the soul contracts, you complete these assignments, these divine assignments, there's rewards on the other side of that. So, if you can remember anything from this transmission, it's when you start stepping out of your comfort zone and you're met with resistance from people in your life, understand that they're not trying to hold you back. They're strengthening you to make sure that you aren't giving your power away to anybody. They literally are designed to help you, push you over that hump, so that once you become that business mogul, or that, manifesting maven, or whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to stop you. Nobody's going to take that. You're able to withstand everything that comes your way, because the higher you get up, people like to say new devils, new levels, or new levels, new devils, whatever. Either way, once you get to a certain level, I personally feel like you've overcome all that petty stuff. It's smooth sailing once you at cruising speed, you at cruising altitude until it's time for your next level of ascension. And if you are on the end tier of your soul blueprint, where you're supposed to step into your highest, best version of yourself, and you are up there, like you damn near at the top, or you at the top, but you haven't started walking yet, these soul contracts are activating you to get you in motion. Because sometimes you'll ascend to the top of where you actually are, where you're supposed to be on your highest timeline, and you'll just stand there. You'll be stagnant. So then you got a person in your life that come along and be like, oh, you're going to do X, Y, and Z, or won't you do this or whatever. They'll present you with an option that's not aligned with what you want to do. And that'll actually get you moving in the direction of where you want to be anyway. Okay, guys, that is my time for this one. If you found this helpful, head over to my website, the8thmoon.com, or also freakshowbabe.com for more information, deeper dives on this subject, and journaling prompts, and a whole bunch of other things, tools available. Sign up for the mailing list if you are so divinely inspired. And I will talk to you in the next one. Toodles.